with Wrestlemania in the rearview mirror, this week we're going to talk about everything post-WrestleMania, plus my thoughts on the debut of the Big Show and a whole lot more this week on That Wrestling Show. Hello everyone, I am Bill Yankovic, and you are listening to That Wrestling Show, the podcast where all pro wrestling matters, and joining me is Fro. How you doing, Fro?
I am much better now that I don't have to watch more WrestleMania. That's for sure.
I think a lot of people are feeling that way. This week, we are going to review WrestleMania. We're going to talk about everything that happened. Plus, I'm going to give my thoughts on the very first episode of The Big Show, because I watched it, and someone who said to me, I don't want to watch it, is going to get my thoughts on it.
Well, somebody that said that he's not going to watch it, watched it.
So we could make comparisons here.
And I also have Luke's review. So, yeah.
Plus, we're going to talk about The Masked Singer, and I'm going to talk about this week's episode of Dark Side of the Ring, which was all about the Brawl for All, and I have a little bit of memories about this, a little bit. So we'll talk about that as well. But Fro, by the time people are listening to this week's episode, this won't be breaking news. But as we're recording it, it is breaking news. And that is that the Revival have been released from WWE effective immediately.
Okay.
Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder, they had been asking for a long time for their release. Never really got it. And then, all of a sudden, today, they got their release. And I'm going to read the official press release from WWE, which states, effective today, Friday, April 10th, 2020, WWE and the Revival have agreed on their immediate release from WWE. We wish them all the best in their future endeavors. So, right off the bat, I'm sure people are screaming that they are going to AEW, but maybe they're not. I'm just putting it out there, you know?
I don't think so.
Where do you think they'll end up going? If they go anywhere?
Right, that's the thing. I don't think they will go anywhere.
Wouldn't it be cool if they end up in Japan? That big twist surprise.
That would be very ironic.
That would be such a twist to everything. Be like, oh, they're going to AEW, they're going to AEW. We're in Japan.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind that.
No, I wouldn't mind that at all.
No.
But I think with, so much, or not so much, but so many people wanting to see the Bucks and the Revival.
Right.
I just think that's bound to happen, at some point.
Like I said, I don't mind. I think they're good enough to go there. I don't know if AEW is interested, though.
Right, because right now they've got a really good tag team division.
Yeah.
One of the best, I think, going today.
Right now, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
And I'm putting that in there, despite the pandemic that's going on, they still have a very good tag team division.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll have to wait and see. I mean, who knows? They could go to Impact.
I would love that.
Oh, the Brockbacks are in the Impact Zone.
That would be funny. I really don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah.
I wish them well.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I think we all do. We want them to succeed because they're
Yeah.
such a good tag team. And the weird thing with the Revival, and this is not a knock against them. This is just me saying, what I've seen. They're a hell of a tag team. Let's just put it out there first and foremost.
Yeah.
They're a hell of a tag team. But they might have a bad reputation behind them for being people that complain a lot.
Yeah.
And that's a bad thing to have as a reputation. And if that's going to follow them, then honestly, I'm not sure if anyone will take them. I hope people do. I hope somebody will take them. But I'm just thinking, maybe with the complaining, I don't know.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll absolutely see. But hopefully the Revival, find a spot, find a place, somewhere good, and they manage to work out, have things work out for them. So, okay, we have not been able to say this in a long, long time, but we can this week. NXT beat AEW in the ratings this week.
Yeah, I saw this.
By the slimmest of margins.
It was pretty slim.
NXT got 693,000 viewers. AEW 692,000. And this is the first time that NXT has beaten AEW in the ratings since December 18th, 2019.
Wow, that long.
That is a long time. But you know what? If there was going to be a week for NXT to do it, this was going to be the week. Because they had the women's ladder match, and they had the final chapter of Gargano Ciampa, which I want to talk about in a moment. Where with AEW, their feature match was Cody against Shawn Spears. Not saying that it wasn't a good match. I'm sure it was. But, you look at the two, it's like, hey, NXT's a little bit more attractive this week. Although, AEW might have had the best match of the week, on TV. I'm excluding WrestleMania out of this. With Sheeta and Britt Baker.
So is everybody else. Yeah. Come on. Yes.
I'm going to be one of the few people that might say this on wrestling podcasts in general here. I loved the Gargano Ciampa match. Because I know people have been down on it, and I get their point. But this was the culmination of...
I very much liked it.
3 years?
Yeah.
And if you want to go even further, together as a team, 4 years? And, number one, the first thing they did right was give it the rest of the show.
Yeah.
I know people are like, oh, they should have, they could have given it maybe 18 minutes best. No. This is the blow-off. This is the end.
Yeah.
That's number one. And then, what I also liked about it is, unlike the Boneyard match and the Firefly Funhouse match, which we will talk about later, they didn't have that movie quality. There was no music to it. You just heard the men in the ring and the referee. That's all you heard. And I thought, this is how it has to be. This is how it has to end. And then the ending I liked, with Candice LeRae coming in.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I hate my husband! I hate my husband! Kicks Johnny in the nuts. She leaves. And then comes back a few minutes later, kicks Ciampa or did I say the knees? I meant the gonads. Then kicked Ciampa in the gonads, and Gargano got the win. And then as they leave, and I was wondering if anyone else noticed this, because I saw this. There was somebody in the car outside. Like, as they're walking away, there are two people inside a parked car. I don't know if anybody else caught that or not.
No, I didn't.
Oh, I'm not gonna say go back to watch it, but it was there. It was definitely there, and I think it was.
I trust it.
And I think it was Killer Cross.
Okay.
And Scarlet. So that's going to be very interesting to see how that goes there. I'm going to defend this match for the fact that, and again, I'm a little surprised that I'm having to do this, but this is the final chapter. This is the culmination. This is everything. You know, it's the end. It has to be, on wrestling terms, done in an epic way.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's what you would want out of wrestling, is to have this epic grand finale to something
I agree.
that's been built up for 4 years.
Yeah.
So, but if you don't like it, I understand. I respect your opinion. But
I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was a very good ending.
Mm-hmm. Plus, you got those commercial breaks in between, which actually helps a little bit. Because, you know, you didn't have, like, this long stretch of a match like we're going to talk about later on with another match. But, yeah, and, like, honestly, the only time I changed the channel was during the commercial break of that match. Because I was going, 8 o'clock. I've told you guys this. 8 o'clock is between Masked Singer, AEW, NXT. When it hit 9 o'clock Wednesday night, I put the remote down, had it for NXT. That was what I was watching the rest of, 9 to 10. And I would get AEW during the commercials. So. But, can't please them all, unfortunately, but.
No.
You and I pretty much seem to have enjoyed it, I think.
I really enjoyed it. I don't understand the big hoopla about this.
Yeah. Well, if you've been living under a rock, the Royal Farms Arena in Baltimore has officially canceled Money in the Bank.
Oh, what a surprise!
At their venue.
Absolutely nobody.
Exactly. They announced this last night. People who have bought tickets can receive refunds via the original point of purchase. And I live in Maryland, and trust me, it's gonna be a while here. We're gonna probably be the next hot spot of the Rona, as Luke.
For some hot spots, baby, this evening.
Hey, speaking of hot spots, let's talk about the Masked Singer. For hot spots,
yes.
So this week we had we have 2 face-offs, and then we had the SmackDown.
Did you like this?
Yeah, I did actually.
Okay. Take me through it then.
Yeah. Well, why don't you tell everyone what we had this week?
Yeah, no, take us through it.
Oh,
if you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll take it through this week. Okay.
Yes.
So Night Angel sang "Man, I Feel Like a Woman" by Shania Twain. Kangaroo sang "No Air" by Jordan Sparks. The Night Angel advanced.
Mm-hmm.
Did you agree with that?
No.
I didn't either. I thought Kangaroo was much better.
Yeah.
I think Night Angel's getting away just on reputation.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Then we had the astronaut singing "If I Can't Have You" by Shawn Mendes. Turtle sang "Let It Go" by James Bay, not the Frozen song.
Let it go. Oh.
No, not that one. Turtle won that one. So we went to the SmackDown. Kangaroo sang "Hot Stuff" by Donna Summer. Astronaut sang "Bye Bye Bye" by NSYNC. We had a kangaroo twerk at one point, which was cute.
A little weird.
A little weird or a little cute. And in the end, the kangaroo was eliminated from the competition.
I am so shocked.
I was. I thought kangaroo would have been there till the end.
Yeah.
And it was model Jordan Woods.
Who?
Yeah, I'd never heard of her.
Me neither.
Let's do a little research here. Jordan Woods has 11.5 million followers on Instagram. She is 22 years old. She was on the TV show Life of Kylie.
Okay.
She has 3 siblings. She also has a Twitter account at Jordan Woods. And apparently, and this was what she said on the show, this was the first time she ever sang in public.
I am so shocked by that.
I thought that was the greatest clue.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, this is the best clue ever.
But it surprised me.
How good she can sing.
Yeah.
So, Astronaut, Night Angel, and Turtle advance to the Battle of the Sixes, which is going to take place in a few weeks. And actually, Fro, we are going to get a bit of a break from the Masked Singer.
Yeah.
There's no new episode next week. It is a special sing-along episode.
Yeah, I'm not going to care about that.
Probably. It's just probably going to be like the best performances of the season. That's what I would figure. So, when we talk about this again in 2 weeks, it is the banana, the frog, the kitty, and the rhino that will be facing off.
Here, kitty, kitty.
And then we'll see who goes from there. Because after that, we'll get the Battle of the Sixes. And we'll get to see who takes it all.
The winner takes it all.
I got a feeling. You know what I'm thinking, Fro?
No.
Because I like to think, if you guys haven't figured out by now, the first 2 seasons of The Masked Singer, a guy has won it. This has to be the season where a female wins the competition.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be Kitty.
Yeah, I think so as well.
I think Kitty is going to take it all the way.
I wouldn't mind. She's very good.
Yeah, I think she's... Honestly, I think she's the better between her and Night Angel. But for some reason, they just have this thing with Night Angel. And I'm not saying Night Angel's not a bad singer. She's a very good singer. It's just, you know, can we move on from her? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
All right. So the other day, Tuesday, was a brand new episode of Dark Side of the Ring, where they talked about the Brawl for All.
Yeah, I haven't heard about this before.
Did you watch the episode?
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about it a little bit. I remember this, actually.
Okay.
When you're 12 or 13 years old, you're thinking to yourself, "Oh boy, this is going to be good." It's a fight. It's a legit fight. Um, Looking back on it now, may not have been the smartest idea in the world, but you know, it happened.
Mm.
One thing that they pointed out, and I think maybe this is forgotten a bit, is they did have a point system. Um, it was 5 points for the most punches per round. A clean takedown was for 5 points, and a knockdown was worth 10 points. And what I didn't know was that the idea came from JBL shooting his big mouth saying that he could beat everyone in a legitimate fight.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
What a surprise, huh?
Yeah.
So, this is Vince Russo's idea. What a surprise.
Oh, really? Vince Russo?
Yeah.
Really? I'm
Uh,
so shocked. Said nobody.
they went around the locker room. They went and picked the 16 toughest guys in the locker room. And the grand prize for this
Hmm.
was $75,000, and they would be working a major angle down the line with Stone Cold Steve Austin. So, that would have been what the prize would have been for the winner.
Who is that?
He's some wrestler. He likes to drink beer.
I've never heard of him.
So I haven't seen the brawl. I actually haven't seen these brawl for all matches in years. Maybe I will. And
I have never ever seen this before.
the only time you're gonna want to watch it is when the knockouts happen, because there are knockouts.
Okay.
So here were the 16 competitors they had for this tournament. We had Steve Blackman, Mark Marrow, Mark Canterbury, better known as Henry Godwin, Bradshaw, who is the one who said, "Oh, I'm on down, Brockus, Savio Vega, Droz, Road Warrior Hawk, Bart Gunn, Bob Holly, Pierre of the Quebecers, you may know him as PCO, Steve Williams, The Godfather, Dan the Beast Severn, 8 Ball, and Scorpio. So the the first round is all on Raw, obviously, because this is where everything happened was on Raw. And the favorite going into this, and I do remember it, was Dr. Death Steve Williams. Because I remember watching him back in WCW, like in the early 90s, because he and Terry Gordy were the first heel team, or the first heels I ever loved.
Mm.
Steve Williams was a badass. Straight up. All-American football player, 4-time All-American wrestler at Oklahoma. He got the nickname Dr. Death from when he was in middle school. He had, I want to say it was like a broken nose, and they had him wear a mask, sort of like a hockey mask, for a goalie. And a coach said, "Oh, he looks like Dr. Death." That's how he got the nickname. So, Steve Williams is the heavy favorite for the tournament. And, it's like, oh, he's going to win this, he's going to go through the tournament, he's going to beat everyone up, and then he's going to go face Austin. He faces Bart Gunn in round 2. And, of course, I never knew this, but Bart Gunn is like, "I'm going to knock him out." I'm going to knock him out. And Bart Gunn knocks out Dr. Death Steve Williams to advance. And that was such a big thing. That was a big upset. Because, you know, Steve Williams in Japan is like one of the biggest foreign stars ever. And he gets knocked out. And he never recovers from this as far as his time in WWF. He does leave. Then Bart Gunn knocks out the Godfather, who's a tough guy. He's a tough guy. And then the finals. I remember the finals so well, Fro, because this was on the final Raw before SummerSlam. And this was the main event for that Raw. Like, they had like a talking segment at the end. But if you're going to do like matches, this was the main event of the Raw before SummerSlam, 98. And Bart Gunn kicks Bradshaw's ass. I mean, he was taking no prisoners, kicked Bradshaw's ass, knocked him out. And Bart Gunn wins the Brawl for All. And he, in turn, wins the fans over. He wins the fans with this. Because, and it's like he said, for years, you know, he'd been, oh, Bart Gunn, he's part of Smoking Guns, he's a cowboy. And then...
he's a cowboy.
And then you give him the opportunity. And, you know, after the first match he has with Bob Holly, which he wins by decision, you know, he knocks everybody out. And, you know, and then it's like, well, okay, Bart Gunn's won. He's going to be their next big star. They don't do anything with him. Not a thing. And then, like, the next time he comes back is WrestleMania 15, where he faces Butterbean. And, oh, by the way, if you haven't watched this yet, Butterbean is on this episode. And I feel bad for Butterbean. He does not look like in good shape. He really doesn't. But the way Butterbean says it, and I'm going to believe Butterbean on this one, because I don't think I've ever heard anything bad about Butterbean, is Vince McMahon brought him in to get revenge on Bart Gunn for winning the Brawl for All. I'd believe that. I really would believe that. So they have the fight at WrestleMania 15. Butterbean beats him in less than a minute. And that's it for Bart Gunn. He's gone from WWF soon after.
I remember that match.
I mean, it's not even a match. It is really not. But you know what? I'll say this. Bart Gunn looks in good health. Godfather looks in good health. Droz, who unfortunately was crippled in 1999 after an in-ring accident with D'Lo Brown. He looks alright. Yeah, he added a little bit of weight, but you know what? When you're paralyzed from the waist down, I think that's what'll happen. But
yeah, it's hard to jog when you...
The thing with Droz, though, and this is something I'll always admire Droz about, because the incident that I'm talking about is him and D'Lo Brown. They were having a match at a taped SmackDown. And D'Lo's going to hit this powerbomb. Something went wrong along the way, and Droz couldn't feel anything. And they stopped the match. And, you know, Droz never blamed D'Lo for what happened. Obviously, D'Lo felt bad, but both, you know, have talked about it. Droz doesn't hold anything, against D'Lo. He understands it was an accident, and I think that's very commendable of a guy like Droz to be like,
Yeah.
hey, it was an accident. This stuff happens, and we just go on with life.
Yeah.
And I always liked D'Lo. I always did like D'Lo
Mm.
Brown. I think what happened with D'Lo was, looking back on it now, when that happened, that was like the beginning of the end of his push, because he was very popular in '99, and then that happened.
I feel like he is kind of popular still today.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
But
He's not a guy that has gotten bad reputation
no,
or anything.
oh no. So let me ask you this: is the Brawl for All the worst idea in the history of wrestling?
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's up there.
I would say drinks. I would say I don't know if it's the worst idea, but it's up there.
Right.
Apparently, after this episode came out, there was a report that came out that Vince McMahon wanted to bring the Brawl for All back, but for NXT. Thankfully,
I remember that.
Thankfully, that got put down, being like, "Oh God, no, we're not doing that again."
Stupid rumor.
Let me tell you about real quick some of a couple of key notes. In the first round, Steve Blackman had defeated Mark Merrow based on a decision. Blackman was forced out of the competition due to an injury in training, so Mark Merrow took his place in the second round. The fight between Droz and Road Warrior Hawk ended in a draw. However, Droz advanced as Hawk was injured during their match.
Right.
Dan Severn defeated the Godfather on points, but withdrew, saying he had nothing to prove. And Dan's got a point. I mean, he was an original fighter in the UFC. He was a champion everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then Steve Williams got hurt, as they mentioned in the episode. So it was a hot mess. But
do you think this would happen today?
No, not with
Me neither.
Not with all the stuff we know about concussions. Not today. Even Vince Russo said that he wouldn't have this go today. I think, yeah, there's just too much stuff we know today. There's no way it could happen.
Mm.
And also at the same time, I don't think the fans would be interested in it. I really don't.
No, I agree.
So.
Or hopefully they wouldn't be interested.
But of course, we're talking about 1998 and 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a big, big difference. So, all right. Well, actually, next episode, and I know this is going to be very interesting for a lot of people. I'm going to be interested in it, and especially for the members of the original Smart Wrestling fan community. It is going to be about Jimmy Superfly Snuka and Nancy Argentino.
Never heard of this podcast.
Oh, I meant the original. From many, before you were around.
I'm joking.
I know. All right, so we go from one show to another show.
What show is that?
The Big Show.
Show.
So this premiered on Monday on
Yeah.
Netflix.
Yeah.
Fro, I remember originally
Mm-hmm.
said in a group while we were watching WrestleMania, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to be watching this because
I will never ever watch it, I said.
it sort of threw a wrench into my plans of having us review the episode next week. But
Mm-hmm.
but I ended up watching this yesterday, and you admitted to me off air that you in fact watched the first episode.
Yeah.
So I think
Not sure. I'm not sure if I'm super proud about that, but
well, let's set up the premise for everyone.
is
So
there a premise?
there is a premise.
Are you sure?
Yes, for the show.
Okay.
So the Big
Is it
Show
just
plays.
is it just that it's so bad I didn't care about the premises?
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about it. You're not the one that has to describe it.
Okay.
So the Big Show plays, well, the Big Show.
Mm-hmm.
He is a retired wrestler who is living with his wife and his two kids. But, and this is the part I didn't know about until, like, I think the day before or the day of, which got me a little bit interested. His oldest daughter from his first marriage is moving in with them. Because originally, like, when you see the trailer, which I would imagine you've seen the trailer,
Mm-hmm.
it's the three daughters and his wife. So I'm thinking, oh, okay, it's Big Show, three girls, and a wife. But when you have the twist of, oh, it's his daughter from his first marriage coming to live with him, again, two different thoughts on television, folks. So, the first episode is the one we're going to talk about today, and it is called Prototype.
You're not going to do every episode, are you?
Oh, no, just this one.
Okay.
Just
Jesus
the
Christ.
one. Just the
Yes, because that would be atrocious. Because I saw two episodes and I told Luke I had so much trouble watching the second one. But we have a rule that you have to be two episodes and you're out to judge the podcast.
Right.
Or sorry, to judge
show.
it on show on the podcast.
Right.
So you have to have watched two episodes of the show. And I can tell you, it is one of the hardest things I have ever done in my entire life. It is so atrociously bad.
My thinking over the years, when Jim Boy Star and we used to do the TV draft.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something I developed over time, and I'm glad I developed over time. If you're going to watch a brand new show, you have to go at least past the first episode.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. To give it a shot.
That's what I said.
Yeah. No, I know. So, without going into a lot of it, here's a breakdown of the family, because that's the main characters.
Mm-hmm.
Big Show's wife, Cassie, who's played by Allison Munn. I'm not sure if she's related to Olivia Munn or
not. Probably. Yeah. One Tree Hill.
She is a real estate agent. That's her job on the show. It does not say if she is related to Olivia Munn here, but
she's from One Tree Hill. If anybody saw that, I like that show.
And she was also on 9 episodes of that '70s show.
Yeah, that's right.
She was also on What I Like About You. If anyone remembers that show, I don't.
I do.
Yeah. She was on a show called Carpoolers.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned One Tree Hill, like you said.
Yeah. I think she's probably most famous for One Tree Hill.
And she was on Nikki, Ricky, Dickie, and Dawn. That's a show on Nickelodeon. Or was a show on
Never,
Nickelodeon.
never heard of it in my entire life.
I don't think I ever saw an episode of it, so I'm glad. So, the oldest daughter, Lola, played by Raylan Castor, she's the daughter from the first marriage. Her mom is living in Belgium. And she's going to move in with her dad. She likes to play hockey because, everyone in Minnesota plays hockey.
Mm-hmm.
Stereotype. Lily Brooks O'Brien plays Mandy, the middle daughter. And actually, I'll tell you what. There was a joke in there that I liked that she says. That she has MSS, middle sibling syndrome. I liked that joke. I thought that was alright. She admires women leaders such as RGB, AOC, and Leslie Cope. I don't know who the last one is. Oh, never mind. Oh my God, I feel terrible. It's Amy Poehler's character from Parks and Recreation.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh my God, I feel bad. Oh,
that's a good show.
I'm gonna get beat up for that later. And the youngest child is JJ, played by Juliet Donenfeld. And I'm gonna admit it. She was my favorite character from the first episode. She's an instigator. I like that.
Oh yeah.
Her room is called the JJ Dome. That was my horn sound because I'm not gonna play that.
Mm-hmm.
So the episode is Lola's gonna move to their house to live. Mm-hmm. And she's gonna live in Mandy's room. Well, Mandy's like, no, I'm not letting her. This is my room. I'm gonna do a sit-in. Which she does. And she has her class join her in the sit-in. Meanwhile, Big Show tries to do everything perfect for Lola, and it backfires on him, and it's typical family comedy. That's the best way I'll put it.
No, it's not. It's bad.
From 40 years ago.
Yes. From 40 years ago, yes. Yeah. That's exactly what this show feels like. It feels like it was made 40 years ago. That's actually a good comparison.
Now, here's my thinking on this. Before you put judgment on it. From a lot of not a lot, but from some of the Netflix shows that I've seen, this show is a good show for Netflix.
Why do you say that?
Because I think it gets away with being that cheesy family comedy show that the parents and young kids could watch, and they could be okay with watching it, if you know what I mean.
I understand, yeah.
Like, it's not offensive. There really wasn't anything offensive in this episode, surprisingly.
Well, the episode itself was offensive.
God. Anyway,
I found this offensive to my intelligence. I found this very much offensive.
Well, you didn't watch TGIF as much as I did growing up, so. But
yeah, no, like if you want to compare this with anything, it's like it's under same roof compared with like it is every fucking sitcom in the entire world in one sitcom.
Yeah, there are tropes in this.
Tropes?
There's a lot of them.
There's a lot of them, like Big Show being too big. Oh, so funny. Oh, he's clumsy and big because, big.
But
I think I think they use this as a torture device in Abu Ghraib. I think
Wow.
they do.
But what I was gonna say here,
Mm,
this fits perfectly on Netflix.
yeah.
It really does. If this was on a major network, this show gets canceled within a month. If
Right.
it's on Nickelodeon or Freeform, like one of those
Mm.
channels, it might have a shot to make it. But since it's on Netflix, I think it's going to be there a while, bro. I hate to burst your bubble, but I think it's going to be
I
there a while.
They have under same roof season 62, so yeah.
Now, of course, the main reason I will continue to watch this, even though he wasn't on the first episode, is Jaleel White,
Right.
who everyone knows him as Urkel from Family Matters, but he's gone on to have a very good career outside of playing Urkel.
Yeah, and Mark Henry is in this.
Yeah, there's one episode where Mark Henry, Mick Foley, and Rikishi are going to be on.
Mm-hmm.
And if there is a season 2, which after reading that this show is among the top to watch shows on Netflix this week, I think there's going to be a season 2, and there's going to be an episode with Stone Cold Steve Austin on it.
You know, the reason why of that is because of the Rona. If the Rona wasn't around, this would not be popular at all.
I don't know. I think there'd still be. I don't think it'd be as popular. I'll say that.
Okay.
But I think maybe, you know. But let me read off the title episodes before we move on from this and give our overall thoughts.
Let's
So,
please move on.
The first episode, which we talked about briefly, was called Prototype.
Mm-hmm.
Here are the rest of the episodes. Let's see if you can find what they all have in common. The Big Punisher,
Mm-hmm.
the Big Brain, the Big Sinkhole, the Big Process, the Big Party, the Big Surprise, the Big Decision. I wonder what they have in common.
Hmm. Hmm.
But I will say, if you are a parent who has kids, this might be a show for your kids to watch.
Oh yeah,
Like
definitely.
young kids. Like maybe what age group? 6 to 12?
6 to 12, yeah.
Yeah, we'll go with that. If you really like The Big Show as a human being, I would recommend you watching this. If you're like Fro, do not watch this. I'm gonna watch the next episode. I'm gonna watch the second episode just to see if it gets me, and I'll decide on my own if I'm gonna watch it or not. But no, folks, we are not reviewing this every week. I just wanted to do the first one to get it out of the way.
I would rather walk on broken glass than watch another episode of that.
Oh.
I would rather watch the second night. Oh wait.
Well, we're gonna get to that. we're gonna get to that in a little bit.
That was a joke.
I know.
Because I definitely wouldn't.
that would be fun. But anyway, last week, Fro and I, we talked about, in the latest edition of Pro Wrestling Illustrated magazine, the Decades Awards. And I mentioned in the magazine, there was a very good article about where they discussed 25 wrestlers under the age of 25 that are currently making a name for themselves in professional wrestling.
That's right.
So I have this here and even I'm going to admit this, bro. There are a couple people I have not heard of before,
Okay.
but for the
I'm going to predict out of the 25, I will know 5.
all right. I mean,
Mm.
this isn't this isn't a contest. We're not doing
No.
yeah we're
But
just
I'm just
yeah. So
I'm really bad at names.
so I'm gonna say each name and I'm gonna tell you guys their age.
Okay.
So and this is not in order. Like this guy's number one. This is number two. They just put 25 out. So the first name they mention, and I apologize for the binging. I'm in a group channel on Facebook right now, but Hirai Kawato, who is 23 years old. He is a product of the New Japan Dojo, and he is on his excursion right now in Mexico with CMLL.
Cool. Never heard of it.
I haven't heard of him. Maybe he'll come up in the U.S. sometime in the near future and wrestle here. Next one is Wheeler Yuta, who's also 23 years old. I've seen him in Beyond Wrestling a few times. He's a good
Named
talent.
after one of my favorite towns in the world.
What?
He's named after one of my favorite towns in the world.
Wheeler?
No, Utah.
Oh, good. Anyway, no, I mean, I've seen him a few times. I didn't think he was that young, to be honest. I thought he was older than 23. Then we have the lovable Marco Stunt from Jurassic Express, AEW, 23 years old. 5'2", 120 pounds, bro.
Okay.
But man, he's fun to watch. Then we have Myron Reed, who wrestles in Major League Wrestling. He is 22 years old.
Yeah. The first one I've heard of.
Then we have another wrestler from Major League Wrestling, Jordan Oliver, who, are you ready for this? 20 years old.
Mm.
Man, back in my day, if you were 20 years old in wrestling, you wouldn't be never mind, I'm not going to sound like that. Now we have Isaiah Cassidy, one half of Private Party.
Yes.
He's 22 years old.
I've heard of him.
Yeah, that's a good tag team. I think we're going to see maybe we'll see his partner later on. I'm not really sure. Then we have Layla Hirsch, who I've not heard of.
I've heard about Hirsch's name.
She's 23 years old. She trained at the Combat Zone Wrestling Dojo. She has wrestled in Japan in Stardom and has wrestled in Beyond Wrestling. I think I might want to watch a little bit more Beyond Wrestling to see her. Then we have Shota Umino, who is the son of New Japan referee Red Shoes. And he had a good match in June with Jon Moxley. And because
I remember.
yeah, that was a good match. And because of that, Moxley took him under his wing.
Cool.
Then we have Jamie Hayter, who is from Europe. She's 24 years old. She's wrestled on AEW Dynamite. I don't remember the episode, to be honest, but she's wrestled all over Europe. She's probably going to be a big name coming up real soon in wrestling. Then we have Jungle Boy.
Yeah.
22 years old.
Yeah, he looks young.
I thought he was a little bit. I thought he would have been 23 or 24, but 22. he's got a lot of potential. I think, he's going to get there. Give him a few more years, he's going to be there. Then we have Chris Statlander. She's becoming one of my favorite wrestlers to watch.
Who?
She is 24 years old.
Where is she?
24.
Yeah, but where is she?
Oh, AEW, Beyond Wrestling. Where has she wrestled? AAW, which is in the Chicago area. Then we have Ace Austin, the current Impact Wrestling X Division champion.
Amazing.
He is
person.
22 years old.
Yeah. He looks young as well.
Mm-hmm. We also have Austin Theory, who we're going to talk about in just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
He is 22 years old as well.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have, I know, one of our favorites, Jordan Grace, Thick Mama Pump. 23 years old.
Wow.
And if you follow her on Instagram, my God, she is more beautiful than she is in the ring. I mean, she's such an attractive young lady. She would be one where I'd break my rule of the age limit for dating women. I really would. But no, she's a very good wrestler. She's one of my favorite women's wrestlers going today. Then we have A-Kid, who is 22 years old. He wrestles mainly in Europe and does wrestle in NXT UK.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen much of him to put an opinion on, but maybe if I could find some A-Kid matches, I'll watch them.
I really like him. Yeah.
Then we have Tony Storm. Tony Storm is 24 years old. Besides wrestling NXT and NXT UK, she's wrestled in Progress over in England, Stardom in Japan, WXW over in Germany. She is a world traveler. Then we have Colby Carino. Now that name might sound familiar to some of our older fans. This is the son of Steve Carino. He is 23 years old. He has wrestled in Evolve Wrestling. He wrestles for Game Changer Wrestling and has appeared in the past in Ring of Honor. Then we have Darby Allin. I think we all know who Darby Allin is. 23 years old, wrestles currently in AEW, but he's also wrestled in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, Major League Wrestling, Northeast Wrestling, among other promotions. We also have Dragon Lee, who is 24 years old. He's wrestled in Mexico, he's wrestled in Japan, he's wrestled in the United States. He is a world traveler. Then we have Rhea Ripley, who is 23 years old.
Never heard of
her. Is on the NXT brand right now.
Didn't she lose a match this week?
Shh. We haven't gotten there yet. We also have Tyler Bate, who's also 23 years old. Mainly wrestles for NXT UK, but he's wrestled all over in England and the United States as well. We also have Tessa Blanchard, who is 24 years old right now. Currently wrestles in Impact Wrestling. Her reputation, depends on how you look at her. She's a good wrestler, but she has a bit of a,
history.
Yeah. We'll
yes.
Go with that. We also have Kaito Kiyomiya, who wrestles in Pro Wrestling Noah. is 23 years old and had a reign as their heavyweight champion in Pro Wrestling Noah for 384 days.
Mm-hmm.
That is impressive.
That is impressive.
We have two more left. We have MJF,
Mm-hmm.
who's 24 years old. This guy, I really believe, is going to be a part of the future of wrestling.
Oh, definitely.
There's nobody else like
He has the charisma. He has everything. He has the ability. He has the mouth. He has absolutely everything.
Yep.
I would marry him.
If you went that way. Well,
Yes.
if you had a man crush, he's your man crush.
Yes.
And finally, we have Riho, who is 23 years old.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
I know. I never told you this. When I went to the first Dynamite episode, because I had my dad with me, he was like, "She looks like she's 12."
Yeah.
But
She does look like she's 12.
She is 23 years old.
23? I would guess like 20 maybe.
No, she looks young for her age.
Yeah.
You know what?
Very good wrestler.
Yeah, very good. She is. She's getting better. She is. Before we get to our review of WrestleMania, because I really don't feel like pulling the song up, I'm just going to do this. For those that don't know what that means, we play that song whenever a female wrestler has either gotten engaged or is married. I am here to report that this week, Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford are engaged.
Who?
From AEW, Penelope Ford.
Oh, okay.
Kip Sabian, Superbad.
Yes.
And
yes.
Bad Girl.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But congratulations to the both of them. Seriously, though, when we do this, it's in joking fashion for the most part. I mean, Fro hasn't recovered from Tessa getting engaged, but you know.
She's not engaged. She's not engaged. She's not engaged.
Yeah, I'm still thinking that about Stacy Keibler. She's not married. She's not married. She's not married. Okay, so now we're gonna get to what everyone has come for. And that is our WrestleMania reviews. And before we do that, I just want to thank everyone, especially on Podbean, because the last 2 weeks we have gotten our highest number of downloads in a very, very long time. And I want to thank everyone who has downloaded, well, not only the last 2 weeks, but every week who listened to this podcast. The last 2 weeks have really meant a lot. So, Fro, we have a little bit of an interesting situation here. Because when we review WrestleMania, not only do we give our ratings, but we also give ratings from Dave Meltzer of the Observer newsletter, along with CBS Sports and ESPN. Well, one of the three did not do any ratings.
Really?
Would you like to guess who didn't do ratings?
Well, Meltzer did.
No, he didn't.
Really?
It is not up on the newsletter.
What?
Let me see if he put it on Twitter real quick.
Has he said why?
I don't know. That's the thing.
Oh. Well, I can understand. Maybe he's depressed after the day two.
I don't know. He's probably been very busy as of late because, you know, in between WrestleMania and now that UFC's been postponed.
Yeah.
Because for those that didn't know, Dana White was going to have upcoming MMA fights held on a private island.
So stupid.
But the fine people at ESPN and Disney convinced him not to do it.
Good.
You mean to tell me that ESPN and Disney can convince UFC not to do their shows, but NBC and Fox can't convince WWE?
Right, yeah.
All right.
We're going to talk about Raw after WrestleMania.
Yeah, we are.
Because sure, what's a thing?
Yeah, because something happened.
Oh, something!
Yes. So, with Meltzer not being in the mix today, it is going to be our grades, CBS Sports, and ESPN with their grades. So let's begin with night uno of WrestleMania. We had a kickoff match. It was Drew Gulak against Cesaro.
Yeah, because this WrestleMania is too big to have on 2 days.
I know. Too big for just one night.
I do think they regret doing that. I hope they regret doing that.
Well, I do want to talk about that when we're completely done with WrestleMania.
Okay.
But I enjoyed this match. It was a short match.
Very good picture match.
It was. It was fun to watch. Cesaro got the win with the UFO, the unidentified flying opponent. I gave this a B-. And for Fro's sake, I do have his grade as well.
Mm-hmm. Because I don't.
You gave it a B- as well.
Mm-hmm.
So Okay, you know what? I'm going to get out of this for now. CBS Sports gave it a. ESPN gave it 2.5 out of 5.
Okay.
Then we had Stephanie McMahon introduce us to welcome us to WrestleMania. And
yeah, in front of a TV,
I guess. And then we had a really nice compilation of America the Beautiful, which I watched a second time, just that compilation. I was moved a little bit. It made my heart feel happy, in a way. It was very nicely well done. One of the good points, I think, of WrestleMania was that compilation.
I thought it was a cheap way of getting out of not having someone singing.
Okay, well, who would you have for a show with nobody in the building? Seriously.
I wouldn't have this WrestleMania in the first place.
Well,
so
neither would I. And neither would a lot of people.
You're kind of asking the wrong person.
I know.
But
White Tiger.
White Tiger, sure. Joe Exotic. No, it's just like stupid.
It's just, I don't know. For me, I just really enjoyed it. Then we had this long opening intro. I watched it. I did watch it. I never saw what was funny about it. I really didn't.
What was funny?
The opening video package. I never saw what was funny about it.
It's not funny.
No,
it's
it
just
wasn't.
Like it is. It's atrociously trite and boring. And here's a little minor spoiler. We're going to see it one more time, and it's not even better the second fucking time.
Oh, and by the way, if you guys are trying to watch it on the WWE Network, towards the end, there's a certain song that gets edited out.
Really?
Yep.
They edited that out?
Yep.
Wow.
Why don't we just say it now? They edited out AC/DC's For Those About to Rock. We salute you. Which sucks, because I think that actually added on?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Which, oh, by the way, it's actually a good album. I recommend it. It's the one after Back in Black.
Yeah.
Besides the title track, you have Inject the Venom, Let's Get It Up, Evil Walks, COD, Night of the Long Knives, Spellbound. It's a good album. It's an underrated AC/DC album. And I could say that because I'm an AC/DC. Alright, so Gronk welcomes us to WrestleMania. Co-host is Mojo Rawley. At least Mojo's doing something. Opening match, the Women's Tag Team Championship. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross challenging the Kabuki Warriors. Bro, I'll let you take this one.
Yeah, I mean, it is very good. Actually, it's one of their best matches. I think everybody looked good in this. There's nothing really wrong about this, is it?
Not really. It just didn't have that connection, I thought.
No.
I mean, it was good for what it was.
Yeah.
Bliss hits Twisted Bliss onto Kairi Sane, and we have new women's tag team champions.
I'm surprised that they did it this early.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like hot potato wrestling, so.
Well, the Kabuki Warriors have held the belt since October.
Right.
So now that I think about
it felt shorter.
Well, it wasn't. And also, Bliss and Cross made history. They are the first ever two-time women's tag team champions.
Yeah. Can you be correct? Didn't Sasha and Bailey had it twice?
No.
Really?
Really?
I'm sure they did. Huh.
I gave this a C-. You gave it a D+.
Mm-hmm.
CBS gave it a B-. And ESPN gave it 3.25 out of 5. Wow, they're being extra nice.
Yeah, no. I think D+ is nice.
Yeah, on your standards, yeah. Then we have King Corbin versus Elias. Corbin wants to be declared the winner because he knocked Elias off of a perch. He Mufasa'd him from Lion King a few weeks ago. But Elias makes it out, and it's just a match. That's all it is. It is just a match. Elias gets a win with a handful of tights. We both gave this a D.
Mm-hmm.
CBS Sports gave it a C-. ESPN gave it 1.25 out of 5.
Sounds.
Now, depending on who you prefer, to me, this is where night 1 of WrestleMania turns it around. In my opinion.
Yeah, well, yeah, you have to wait one more match for me.
Right. Because the next match is Shayna Baszler challenging Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's title.
I'm more angry at this than you are. Most definitely. I think there's no... Well, let's talk about it after you talk about the result.
Okay. So, it starts off as a brawl. It's a good brawl. You're not going to get a lot of technical wrestling out of this. They each try submission moves, can't really quite get it. It eventually goes back to the outside later in the match. Shayna picks up Becky in a powerbomb-like position, swings her into the announcer's table a few times. Pardon me. And then she goes into the ring. She locks in the Karafuda clutch, which, should win it. But as she's got her, Becky reverses it into a pin. 1, 2, 3. Becky retains the Raw Women's title. I thought the match itself was good. Maybe it could have been a little bit more, but I didn't really penalize it that much. I gave it a B minus.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Fro gave it a D minus.
Mm-hmm.
And why don't you tell everyone
Yeah.
why?
Well, I think my main problem is what I'm going to call the Asuka syndrome.
Okay.
Building somebody up is very hard to do in wrestling, and they have done it with Shayna Baszler to a degree where I would say she's over. I don't especially like her wrestling style, but I can see what they are seeing in her. I think she's dead and buried.
Mm.
And I think that's very sad in the way they build her up. It's the same they did with Asuka some years ago when she had her first WrestleMania match and lost. And she should have won. Should Shayna Baszler won here? Yeah. I think the booking of this is one of the most atrocious things in WrestleMania this year, to be honest, booking wise. Because booking wise, it doesn't really make any sense. I think, like I said, I think they killed her momentum. I think they killed her going forward, and I don't really know what they're going to use her for right now because she's not. This is the first match she has lost, and it's extremely weird that she lost it this way. I just feel like they did an ending that I feel was so really screwed up. Really.
Well, after watching the post-match promos that they aired on Monday night, I don't think this is over.
No, it's not over storyline wise, but momentum wise, it's over.
I can see your point.
She has lost all momentum
Mm-hmm.
and all going forward. It's just like I have even less interest in her now because she's not this great big heel
Mm-hmm.
that has something to go with, and it's like the way she lost was also very like, yeah, it felt just like a big echo chamber with absolutely nothing in it.
Right.
That's me personally.
Right.
Like that's why I gave it a D minus.
A D minus. Yeah, D minus.
Yeah.
CBS Sports gave it a B minus.
Wow.
ESPN gave it 3.25 out of 5.
Okay.
And now the next match. This is where to Fro night one changes for the better.
Oh yeah. For me, it changes there.
It is Daniel Bryan challenging Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental title.
Mm-hmm.
This is the match, and I actually like this match. So, Sami is being the chicken shit heel coward. Daniel's trying to get him. First time he tries, Cesaro gets in his way. Daniel tries a second time, Shinsuke gets in his way. And stuff is knocking down outside. We have a lot of wind today. I guess you could say it's a Wednesday. Ho ho ho.
Other than that, it's Friday.
I know. It's a Winnie the Pooh reference. Oh, I'm sorry. I can't say that in China. So. Anyway.
Now we land in China.
Anyway, back to the match. Drew Gulak takes out Shinsuke and Cesaro. So Daniel now gets Sami Zayn. And he's beating him up. He's wrestling him. Sami's doing everything he can, but he just can't get out. Drew Gulak suggests to Daniel to do the headbutt from the top rope. As he's doing this, Cesaro and Shinsuke come back and they attack Drew Gulak. Daniel goes for the headbutt. Sammy hits a haluva kick while Daniel is in midair and gets the 3 count to retain the Intercontinental title. I liked this match. I liked what it was told, and I liked the ending a lot. I gave this a B.
Mm-hmm.
You gave it a B minus.
Yeah, like I said, I felt WrestleMania turned around here after 4 on par matches.
Mm-hmm. CBS Sports gave this a B. ESPN gave it 3.25 out of 5.
Mm-hmm.
Then we go to the ladder match for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. Now, this is a very interesting situation.
This was not supposed to be good.
No.
This was not supposed to be good. Like, when I'm saying that, they made the stipulation very weird, where they have to take both of the titles down, and they were just wrestling with one of the tag team what you call members in the ring.
Right.
We didn't know that before this started. And the stipulation is extremely weird, and it's people that I really don't super care about, and I didn't think I would care about the result. But holy moly, they surprised me in a very good way.
So, one member from each team would be in this match.
Mm-hmm.
John Morrison will be representing the tag champs because The Miz is sick. Kofi Kingston is representing the New Day. And Jimmy Uso is representing the Usos. My God, this was a fun match to watch.
Yeah, like I said, this shouldn't work on paper, but
It shouldn't.
In the ring, it's one of the very few matches where I forgot that there wasn't an audience there.
Mm-hmm.
And when it does that, that's something very good.
And you had so many tremendous bumps taken in this match. So many spots. Morrison does a corkscrew Phoenix splash on the Jimmy Uso while he's on a ladder on the second rope. That was a sick spot. Kofi takes a head bump sliding into a ladder. Jimmy falls, I think, from like the top post onto a ladder. And then we've got to talk about the ending. One of the most creative endings we have ever seen to a ladder match.
Oh, yeah.
So,
just genius.
So, to set it up, Kofi is on one ladder. Jimmy Uso's on another ladder. Morrison is on the other side of both ladders.
Mm-hmm.
All three climb up, and they take down the harness that holds the belts.
I don't remember who it was that got it out. Do you remember?
No.
No.
So, it's like, okay, well, what do we do now? Well, we fight. So, they keep fighting on the ladder, and Kofi and Jimmy, they're punching at Morrison. And it's enough to knock Morrison off of the ladder to have him land on this ladder bridge. But as Morrison is falling, he takes the belts with him and wins the match.
And it didn't look like this needed more than one shot. So I'm very amazed that he did that on the first try, because it looks very difficult to...
Could you imagine if it was like, God, we got to do this again?
Right.
I really loved this match. If it wasn't for another match, this would have been the match of the night.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
We both gave this an A minus.
Mm-hmm.
CBS Sports gave it a B plus. ESPN gave it 4.5 out of 5.
Cool.
Very good rating. Then we had a brief moment where, R-Truth appeared. Once he sees the shadow, the 24/7 title's on the line. So R-Truth talks about how, because of what we have going on, he can't defend the title at picnics, he can't defend him at church, he can't defend him anywhere. So Gronk and Mojo knock R-Truth down. Gronk goes for the pin. Mojo moves Gronk off. Mojo gets on top. 1, 2, 3. Mojo Rawley is the new 24/7 champion.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be the last time we see Mojo or Rob Gronk for night 1 of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So
The host of WrestleMania is not on WrestleMania day 1 anymore.
nope. Actually, I'm going to say something now instead of saying it for later. That's actually one of the pluses I'm going to give for this WrestleMania. They didn't shove down the host. They didn't shove it down our throats.
Yeah, no, I agree.
All right. Next match, Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins.
Kevin Owens! Oh,
wrong guy. Wrestle. Seth Rollins grabs the timekeeper's bell, hits KO with it. Kevin Owens wins by disqualification.
And I say boo.
But
because it was the good.
But KO grabs the mic, and he's like, oh no, we're not going to have it end like this. Let's make this match no disqualifications, no rules. We're going to have a winner. And Seth's like, no disqualification, no rules. All right, let's do it. So we have our no.
Why do you sound like a South Park character?
No, it didn't sound like Seth. I was trying to sound like Seth Rollins. Hello, I'm Seth Rollins.
No, you sound like a South Park character.
Screw you, Andy. No, okay.
Him.
So anyway, they fight around. KO hits Rollins with the bell, and then KO climbs on top of the WrestleMania sign and hits a beautiful jump, lands, goes through the table with Rollins. This would have been the holy shit moment of the night.
Mm-hmm.
Rollins gets rolled back in. Owens hits a stunner. 1, 2, 3. KO wins. I gave this a B. You gave it a B minus.
Mm-hmm.
They should have just made this a no DQ match from the beginning.
They should.
I don't know why.
Well, it would probably get a better character if they had that.
Maybe a better grade, yeah.
Yeah.
CBS Sports gave it a B plus. ESPN gave it a 4 out of 5. Now, the next match, and I have to explain this to Fro, because I don't think I told you about this, is the Universal title match. Goldberg versus Braun Strowman.
Hmm?
Do you want to know how they did the announcement on SmackDown of Braun Strowman being a replacement?
I know how they did it. So.
Okay. So for those that don't know, they're going through the lineup of WrestleMania. They're going through all the matches. And they just straight up announce Braun Strowman is now facing Goldberg.
It was like nothing.
Really?
Nothing at all.
Not a
So
thing.
stupid.
You couldn't... You had, what, a week and a half? 2 weeks maybe? To
Maybe more.
create something? Okay, so here's the match. And this is how it happens. Struggle. Goldberg gets pushed into a corner. Spear number 1. 2 count. Spear number 2. Spear number 3. Spear number 4. Goldberg gives us the sign for the jackhammer. He sets it up. Braun reverses it into a power slam. Strowman then hits another power slam. Strowman hits another power slam. 1, 2, 3. Braun Strowman, the new Universal Champion. We both gave this a C, maybe out of sympathy, maybe.
Yeah, because I think I would probably give it a D plus today
Right.
because it's not that good.
Well, it wasn't going to be. But Braun is now the Universal Champion.
I'm changing my grade.
Oh, you're going to change your grade to a D+. Okay. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that now. And we were told in our group while we were watching, I think it was night 2 of WrestleMania we were watching, someone said how Braun found out.
Right.
Which we'll tell now. Braun was driving from Florida to Wisconsin, which is where I think that's where he lives.
Yeah, and just in front of his front door, when he was almost at home, he gets a call.
21-hour drive, by the way. Go ahead.
And he is told that, oh, you're going to be on the card for WrestleMania. You have to turn around.
So he gets to the airport. They have a plane for him. Send him back. And he lives happily ever after as Universal Champion.
Yeah. I'm very happy.
Yeah, I'm happy for him. I really am.
That match, good result.
Mm-hmm.
And a big FU to Roman Reigns.
See, that's the thing. And I'm glad you said that.
We don't agree on that.
No, I don't. And I'll tell you why. I think, well, obviously Goldberg was going to lose it to Roman Reigns. I think that was a given. They could have put anybody in there against Goldberg. That person would have beaten Goldberg for the Universal title.
Even the great Khali.
Yes. They could have put Khali in that match. Khali would have been Universal Champion. They could have put Carmella in that match. Carmella would have been Universal Champion. They could have put Mike Kanellis in that match. Mike Kanellis would have been Universal Champion.
That would be funny.
So...
Yeah, but I still think it's a big FU because you don't give Roman Reigns his WrestleMania moment. But I think they're building something with him.
But he's already had WrestleMania moments.
I know.
All right, CBS Sports gave this a D+. ESPN gave it 3/4 out of 5.
Okay.
And now, the finale of night 1 of WrestleMania.
Almost match of WrestleMania. Almost.
I think it is the match of WrestleMania, to be honest.
No, I think the...
And I'll explain why when we get to it later. The other match. It is AJ Styles versus The Undertaker in the first ever Boneyard match.
And Luke have been very nice to us and Googled this before we watched this.
Yes.
And he said, oh, that means it's a...
Buried Alive match.
Buried Alive match, yes. And that is entirely what it was.
Yeah, they just used another word for it. Because, it's not like we're having a pandemic of people getting buried alive today in the world,
No. Did you see the mass grave they are digging in New York, by the way?
The masks?
No, the mass grave.
No, I haven't.
It's so sad.
Oh, why are you bringing up something depressing during a great time here?
Mm-hmm.
Only you. Anyway, okay. The production of this is
Oh, so
absolutely fantastic.
amazing.
We begin with a hearse coming into this area. A couple druids come out. They open the back of the hearse.
And we go, oh, this is a cool entrance for Undertaker.
But nope, it's for AJ Styles.
We were all tricked.
Oh, so good.
It is one of the best swerves in wrestling in a long, long time.
So AJ's like, this isn't scary at all. So then we get Undertaker coming down the road on his bike with Metallica playing. Oh, by the way, that has since also been edited as well. WWE's a bunch of cheapskates. So we have our Boneyard match. I watched this a second time.
Mm-hmm.
It is so much fun to watch.
I have seen 2 matches one more time, and it's this and another one.
Yeah. This was so fun to watch.
It is.
Undertaker gets the early advantage. He tries to, I think, stab AJ with some piece of material through, when he's on the hearse. Undertaker goes through the glass of the hearse, and he's like, son of a bitch. Because you get this a lot. It's like, son of a bitch. It just keeps going.
Mm-hmm.
Undertaker gets the advantage for a bit. The Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows are there. And then a bunch of druids come out of this old barn. And Undertaker has to fight off these druids and fights off Gallows and Anderson. Styles comes back, beats up on the Undertaker. Then Styles sends Undertaker through this metal wall, which was a really good spot. And then you hear a lot of this. And then Undertaker gets put in his grave. So
Yeah.
AJ climbs up on this tractor, and I did look, Fro, it was a John Deere tractor. AJ turns the key, starts the engine, and there's Undertaker right behind him. And AJ...
Yeah, all this match needed, and Luke said it very good. It needed the gong when he suddenly is behind him.
So they end up fighting some more. They climb up to a part of the barn, not really the roof of the barn. Gallows and Anderson climb back up. Gallows gets chokeslammed off. Anderson gets a tombstone. AJ then gets chokeslammed off, goes through wooden pallets. And Undertaker's like, say my wife's name. Say my wife's name. And then he takes him over, and Undertaker's like, look, I forgive you. I forgive you for what you've done. Here, let's hug it out. And then Undertaker pushes AJ into the grave. Undertaker goes to the tractor, dumps this pile of dirt onto AJ, and you see, after it's done, AJ's hand is sticking out of the dirt. And then Undertaker gets on his bike, big pyro explosions, you get the Undertaker logo, and Undertaker rides off into the night to conclude night 1 of WrestleMania.
Oh, so good.
Loved this match. This was great to watch. I think this is going to go into, if I had to create a list, this would be in my top 10 Undertaker WrestleMania matches. I gave this an A. I gave this an A+. You gave this an S.
Mm-hmm.
ESPN, or not, pardon me, CBS Sports, excuse me, gave this an A. ESPN gave it 4.5 out of 5. And that concludes night 1 of WrestleMania. So,
yeah, goodbye, everybody.
I wish.
That was the only WrestleMania there was.
Right.
Let's forget about day 2. Well, I'm going to say it right now. I have soured on night 2. When we were recorded right after, I felt I was too nice on night 2, and that's saying something. I think it's worse than I let on.
Well, before we get into night 2, let's take a look at what our Facebook group thought of the first night of WrestleMania. As far as the grade for night 1, it is a tie between a B and a C grade. I'm giving this a B. I really enjoyed night 1.
Oh yeah, B, yeah, definitely.
On our Facebook group, what was your favorite match of night 1 of WrestleMania? Most people agreed with us by picking the Boneyard match as the best match of night 1 of WrestleMania. Followed by, and this is surprising, KO versus Seth Rollins. And one person voted Shayna Baszler versus Becky Lynch as their favorite match from night 1 of WrestleMania.
Okay. Good for you.
Alright, so we go from night 1 to night 2 of WrestleMania. We begin with our kickoff match, Liv Morgan against Natalya. I'm trying not to disrespect these two ladies, but this match could have been on Monday Night Raw.
Oh, this is so bad. This is an omen. An omen, I say.
So, basically the end of the match, Liv goes for a roll-up. Natalya reverses the roll-up. Liv reverses the roll-up, hooks the legs together to get the 3 count in the victory. I gave it a D+. You gave it a D.
Yeah, I'm going to change that to D-. Okay. Let's see if this is a trend on this night, if I change anything down.
Right.
Let's see if that's a trend, because it is.
CBS Sports gave it a C+. And ESPN gave it a 2 out of 5. All right, so Stephanie McMahon welcomes us back to WrestleMania.
In another dress.
In another outfit.
Let's see if we get another intro this time, Bill.
We get the same intro.
Really?
Yep. Gronk welcomes us back to WrestleMania. And we begin with the burp NXT Women's Title match. Charlotte Flair against Rhea Ripley.
I'm so angry at this, even though I was right.
But this was a very good match. This...
At least you did though.
I thought it was. I'm taking the result out of this. This was a good match. Rhea Ripley held her own. One of our 25 under 25. Against someone who's been in big match situations before. And Charlotte goes for the injured knee of Rhea Ripley, because Ripley's had knee surgery in the past. And it's a good back and forth match. Charlotte locks in the figure 4, then turns it into the figure 8. Ripley fights it for all that she can, but she just can't hold on. Charlotte Flair wins the NXT Women's title. We both gave this a B+.
Let's see if that changes when I give it a C+.
Oh, come on. Now, I do want to mention, before I give the grades of CBS and ESPN, I'm not sure if this played into the outcome of the match. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't, but I'm going to tell you guys anyway. Rhea Ripley's work visa is done. It ran out. So she has to go back to Australia to basically get her work visa to work again. The problem is right now, there's no way for her to get back to Australia at this time.
Aww.
And then, when she does get back to Australia, she has to be self-quarantined for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we're not going to see Rhea for a while. But I thought for her first WrestleMania, she had a doggone good match. CBS Sports gave this an A-.
Who paid them?
Not me. ESPN gave it 4.25 out of 5.
Okay.
So the next match is Aleister Black against Bobby Lashley. Why is this happening? They just needed a match. So it's a back and forth match. Lashley eventually gets control. Then we get to the conclusion. Lashley is going to win this match. He's going to put Black away with the Dominator. Lana gets up on the apron and she's like, "No, no, hit him with a spear! Hit him with a spear!" So, Lashley does what he's told, goes for the spear. Aleister Black hits Black Mass. 1, 2, 3. Aleister Black gets the victory.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Aleister Black got a win at WrestleMania. I gave this a C. You gave this a D+.
Yeah, let's see if that changes when I gave it a D-. See a trend there?
Yeah, I do. I'm not liking it.
Mm-hmm.
CBS Sports gave this a B-. B as in boy.
Mm-hmm.
ESPN gave it 2.75 out of 5. Now, we go to this match. Otis versus Dolph Ziggler. So they show us the video package and they show us what happened on SmackDown before WrestleMania, which changes everything.
Oh yeah, everything.
So we have our match. Sonya Deville is in Dolph's corner. So you'd figure, Mandy's going to be in Otis's corner. No. Oh, okay. Well, then Tucker's going to be in Otis's corner. Nope.
No.
Otis is on his own for this. And JBL, oh man, this was my JBL moment of the night. Because he's like, "Oh, Michael, that's fake news." Talking about the whole, reveal of what happened with the date. That's fake news, propaganda news. So we have the match. It's a match, and then we get to the end. Because Otis gets kicked in the gonads by Dolph. Although somebody said he got kicked in the butt. But we'll let you.
Yeah, he gets kicked in the back. And that's why it's so stupid. Because he reacts the wrong way.
So Ziggler gets a 2 count. Then Mandy's music plays. She storms out, slaps Sonya Deville, throws her in the ring. So this distracts the referee. Mandy gets in the ring, and Dolph is like, "You're ruining the plan! You're ruining the plan!" She kicks him low. Otis then goes for the caterpillar, hits it, 3 count. Otis wins! Otis wins! Otis wins! And then we finally get our moment. Otis and Mandy kiss each other.
Aww.
I gave this a C+,
Mm-hmm.
and you gave it a C-, but I got a feeling this is going to change.
No, it's going to stay there.
Oh my God, you actually kept the grade.
Yeah. I actually don't mind this.
CBS made it a C+, or gave it a C+. ESPN gave it a 3 out of 5.
Okay.
I'm a little surprised. I didn't think it would go that high. Let me take a drink real quick.
Yeah, because now we're going to talk about the match of WrestleMania.
Oh my God, this match.
I mean, it's so good. It is one of the best matches I have ever seen in my entire life. Said absolutely nobody.
And this match had the best build-up to WrestleMania, hands down.
I hate this match so much.
Edge versus Randy Orton in a last man standing match. Now, before we even get to this, do you remember when we did our review of Night 1 on Patreon, and I asked, why didn't KO and Seth use the entire Performance Center?
Right.
Well, now I know why.
Okay.
Because it was for this match.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So, Edge comes out first.
I can't believe that this match exists.
And he waits for Randy Orton. Now this part, I'm gonna admit, I liked this part. I thought this was a good beginning. So Edge is waiting. He's waiting. And then Orton hits him from behind with an RKO.
And he disguises himself as a cameraman.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. Because we did get the split replay of that. So Edge gets up and the match begins. And now, ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you the WWE Performance Center Tour, The Match. Because
I can't remember last time I was this bored in a wrestling match.
Because this match stays in the ring as long as Fro has kissed a woman. It is not that long. So Orton goes to the outside with Edge.
Thanks for outing me, you. Mm-hmm.
So they take it to the outside. Orton beats him up. They go over the barricade. Then they go into the gym of the Performance Center. Edge is getting beat up. At one point, and there were people that were upset about this. I wasn't really that upset. Randy Orton uses a couple of, I guess it's like pulleys on a weight, and he wraps it around Edge's neck. And people were like, ooh, that's too Chris Benoit.
Nah.
Exactly. So he beats up Edge for a long time. But Edge manages to come back. Then they go back out of the gym, back into the arena behind the curtain. They go through the technical area. Then they go back over the barricade around ringside. Then they go back over the barricade. Then they go through a hallway, which at first we thought might have been the bathroom, but instead it's an office. It's a meeting room. And they fight in there. And in Edge, I forgot about this spot, but it's actually a decent spot here, Fro. He climbs up on what looks like to be part of a cage and does like a 3-foot elbow drop onto Orton while he's on this long-ass table, which could be used for Thanksgiving dinner. So then they continue the fight. They go into the back. They go into like the back lot of the Performance Center. They fight around. They fight over at a truck. And Luke brought this up because I never really thought about it. Becky Lynch in Night 1 drove a semi to the building. But
Oh yeah.
but it didn't go in the building.
This is a very good point by Luke.
It is very good, Luke. So they're fighting. Then they fight over an area which looks like they train for promos. And then they go to a table. Orton gets put on a table. Edge climbs up. He does an elbow drop through the table. And then they continue to fight even more. They fight on the back of a pickup truck. And Orton hits a DDT on this pickup truck. Then they climb on top of a semi-truck. They go to the roof. And they're fighting more. And more. And more. To at one point, my only concern was the well-being of the referee. Because I thought the referee was going to fall off, but thankfully he did not. Orton hits an RKO. Edge gets back up. And then Edge locks in a submission hold. And then he gets chairs and he is about to cry, but he knows he's got to put him down like Old Yeller. Hits a concerto onto Orton. 10 seconds later, mercifully, this match is over. Edge gets the win.
It is the most boring thing I have ever seen in my entire life in wrestling.
Fro, Dave Meltzer would agree with you. He said on Twitter, this was the most boring WrestleMania match he's ever seen.
It is so atrociously bad.
Here's the thing. There's two things, really, for me. Number one, they gave this match way too much time.
Oh, yeah.
It is an almost 40-minute match.
And it felt like 3 fucking hours.
If it had gone 25 minutes, I think I would have been fine with it.
Yeah.
But it just stretches. And that's the other problem. There are points during the match where there's nothing going on. And it takes it out of the match.
Mm-hmm.
I gave this a D. You gave it an X. You didn't even want to give it a grade because of how bad it was.
Yeah, and I'm going to downgrade it to
a Z.
Yeah.
Now, is it a Z or a Z minus?
Oh, it's a C minus 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 minus.
I'm not going to put all those minuses on there. I don't have
It
that
is,
much.
it is the worst match I have ever seen in my entire life.
Ooh. I don't know if I'd say it's the worst I've ever seen.
I would rather watch that TNA women's match.
He'd rather watch the entire first season of the Big Show before this match.
Yes.
CBS Sports gave it a C minus. ESPN gave it 3.5 out of 5.
Who paid them off?
Really? In between, Mojo Rawley is being chased by a bunch of people we've never seen before and probably will never see again.
Mm-hmm.
Then Rob Gronkowski goes for a jump off the podium, pins Rawley, 1, 2, 3. Gronk is the new 24/7 champion. And he runs away. And that's the last time we see Gronk for WrestleMania.
I wonder if we will get a new host for WrestleMania.
Oh, well, we're going to find out very shortly. Because our next match is for the Raw Tag Team titles. The Street Profits defending against Angel Garza and Austin Theory. No disrespect to these four. But my God, this match should have been on Raw. Oh, wait, it is the next night.
It is,
And it's actually a better match, believe it or not.
Yeah.
So, the end of the match, Theory's got a pin on Dawkins. Montez Ford hits a beautiful frog splash onto Theory. Dawkins sees that Theory is down. He pins him 1, 2, 3. Street Profits retain the titles. After the match, Zelina Vega gets in the ring, and it's a 3-on-1 attack when all of a sudden, Bianca Belair runs in to make the save.
What?
Mm-hmm. And she goes after Zelina Vega. They clean house. And Street Profits and Bianca Belair, they got a moment. For the match, I gave it a C. You gave it a C minus.
Guess what?
What?
It's getting a D plus.
Oh, okay. That's not too bad of a change.
No.
Then we see our new host for WrestleMania, Titus O'Neil.
The best host of WrestleMania this year.
and it's like I joked with Ro, and I'll say it to everyone. Titus O'Neil is the first runner-up of the Miss America pageant, where if for any reason the winner cannot fulfill their obligations and duties, then the first runner-up will, and that's what Titus O'Neil is.
It felt like that, for sure.
Oh, Titus. And we're not even done with Titus yet.
No.
CBS gave this match a C+. ESPN gave it 2 3/4 out of 5.
Cool.
Now, we go to the SmackDown Women's title match, which is a fatal 5-way elimination match.
This was supposed to be very good.
It was kind of average, I thought.
It's very average.
Bayley defending the title against Sasha Banks, Lacey Evans, Tamina, and Naomi. Remember when Dana Brooke was supposed to be in this match?
No.
So, early on in the match, Tamina's a powerhouse. And, excuse me, they are all trying to do everything. They can't do it. Eventually, the 4 of them are just like, screw it, we're just going to all go after her. And all 4 of them pin Tamina. Tamina's eliminated. So now we're down to 4. Naomi and Sasha, they wrestle for a little bit. Sasha locks in the bank statement. Naomi gets eliminated. So now we're down to 3. Now, this part, to me, is where the match starts to become a little bit interesting. Bayley and Sasha are double teaming Lacey Evans. They are going to set up a move to pretty much eliminate Lacey from the match. They have her in the corner. Bayley's going to give her a knee to the head. As Bayley is running, Lacey moves out of the way, pushes Sasha into her place. Bayley accidentally knees Sasha. Uh-oh. So Lacey and Bayley fight for a little bit. Then Sasha gets in the ring, and she and Bayley start to have an argument. And Sasha's like, I've always had your back. Why would you do this to me? I've always, So Lacey gets up. She goes for the women's right. Bayley sees it, blocks it, reverses it. Lacey hits Sasha with the women's right. 1, 2, 3. Sasha is eliminated from the match. Now we're down to Lacey and Bayley. These two go at it for a little bit. It's better than the match they had at the Royal Rumble. But Sasha comes back in, and I think it was you, bro, that pointed it out. Sasha never left ringside.
Never.
Never did. She hits the backstabber on the Lacey. Bayley hits a finishing move. I think it was like a knee or something. Bayley gets the 3 count. Bayley retains the SmackDown Women's title. After the match, Banks gives the belt to Bayley. And I didn't realize this till yesterday, Fro. Bayley has made WrestleMania history. Would you like to know what it is?
Yes, please.
She is the first woman in WrestleMania history, and this is a small one, but it's still important. She's the first woman in WrestleMania history to successfully have defended the Raw and SmackDown women's titles.
All right. Yeah.
I gave this a C. You gave it a D plus.
I'm going to just stick with that.
Okay. Okay. CBS Sports gave it a B minus. ESPN gave it a 3 out of 5.
Mm-hmm.
Now comes what I said when we did our review on Patreon Night 2. I believe the most controversial match of WrestleMania this year. John Cena versus Bray Wyatt in the Firefly Funhouse match. This, I think I could say this with safety. This is the match that you saw the second time.
Yeah.
Because this is also the match I saw a second time as well.
This is my favorite WrestleMania match of all time.
Okay, well, I wouldn't go that far, number one.
It is.
Well, for you, no,
me,
it's okay. I'm okay with you saying it.
Yeah. I just love it. It's just like,
No, I know. So, I watched it a second time. Because the first time I watched it was with you and a bunch of people. And it was fun. Don't get me wrong. But watching it a second time by yourself is such a big difference than watching it with a bunch of people.
It's better, in my mind.
So, Cena comes out to the arena. He does his, little entrance.
And I was so pissed. I was so angry.
Oh, I know, right?
I said very loudly, okay, I guess I'm going to bed then.
Right, you said that. And then, no more than a few minutes after, Bray Wyatt, we see Bray at his funhouse. And he's basically saying, John, you gotta come here. So we're gonna experience the worst moments of your life. So Bray goes through this door, and John Cena is transported to the Firefly Funhouse. And Ramblin' Rabbit is like, be careful, dude. Whatever you do, don't go in, So Cena goes into the door, and he is, he's in the dark. My first thought was, oh God, the Fiend's going to get him. Fiend's going to get him right there. Nope. Instead, we get Puppet Vince McMahon. And Puppet Vince is like, you gotta have ruthless aggression. You gotta have ruthless aggression. If you don't, you're fired. So, Bray is in the ring, and word for word cuts the Kurt Angle promo on SmackDown.
And it's so good shot together with all shots from when that happened.
Oh, by the way, the Ramblin' Rabbit puppet is still for $35. Once it gets lower, I'm going to buy it. So John Cena comes out as when he debuted in 2002. He has his trunks, he's got the tape, he's got the boots, he's got everything. So then Wyatt's like, what's the one quality that you have, with Cena saying, ruthless aggression. Let's first slap, misses. Ruthless aggression, misses again. Ruthless aggression, misses again. And then Bray Wyatt's like, you can look, but you can't touch. That was really good. That was funny. And so then Wyatt gets chased by Cena. And then all of a sudden, here's Mercy the Buzzard on commentary as Macho Mercy, and evil puppet Vince McMahon on commentary. And then all of a sudden, they play the opening to Saturday night's main event, the
and
original
it's
version with the
and
song.
I can't remember the last time I heard a gasp going over an audience, but everybody on the call where we were went like, oh.
Okay, now here's my thing. If I can say it now. We've talked about twice already. AC/DC and Metallica both being edited off. This is a one-hit wonder song, Obsession. I think you can use this song because it's a one-hit wonder.
Yeah, no.
So they go through it, and then we see Muscle Man, Bray Wyatt. He's behind a blue steel cage. He's cutting a promo. Here's John Cena joining him for a tag team match. Cena's got these weights. He's lifting the weights. He can't stop lifting weights. And then, his arms just get tired. He tries to slap Bray. Can't do it. Then they get teleported to the next part where it's, the Doctor of Thugonomics, John Cena. And Cena's like, oh, I gotta speak in rhyme. So he does his rap, and Wyatt cuts a promo, and then...
And is that one of John Cena's best raps in years? I mean, he brings up Husky Harris.
Mm-hmm.
I did not think he would go there, but he did.
And what was good about this part was how they used, like, the kids' sound effects. Like, when they mentioned Husky Harris, they're like, aww. And then when he mentions another part, yay! So then Bray gets he gets an advantage on Cena. And then we get to see the original Bray Wyatt, the Eater of Worlds Bray Wyatt. He's got the hat, he's got the rocking chair, and then we go back to WrestleMania 30, where he's like, I'm going to give you another chance, Cena. You could change the course of history right here. Just hit me with a chair.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't really do it. And then, for some... oh, no, he does do it, right? Yeah. Then, out of the blue, it becomes an episode of Monday Nitro. where
With the intro.
Where Bray Wyatt is Eric Bischoff, and he introduces Hollywood Hulk Hogan. And here comes Cena. He's got the NWO belt, he's got the NWO clothes on, and then Puppet Vince gives one of the best lines ever. He's like, this is some good shit. And it's like, oh my God, what is going on? So then, Cena attacks Wyatt, and Cena's just had it at this point because he gets this flashback of like all these big moments where he's lost. And he starts beating up Wyatt. But what he's actually beating up is the pig. And then the Fiend comes up from behind, locks in the mandible claw, and then regular Bray Wyatt counts the 3. The Fiend wins the match. John Cena disappears. And then you get the, let me in. And that's the end of it. And then, to put the cherry on the cherry on top, Titus O'Neil has this look on his face, and he's like,
what is this? Yeah.
I got nothing to say.
It is one of the best things.
That face is going to be an all-time meme gif forever. I gave it an A+. You gave it 2 S's.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm taking it that you're sticking with that.
Yep.
CBS Sports gave it an A+. ESPN gave it 4.25 out of 5. Now, I do, real quick, before we get to the main event. After watching both the second time, I think the reason why I preferred the the Boneyard match over the Firefly Funhouse match, which I both like. I liked both of them. Those are my top 2 matches from WrestleMania. The difference is Styles and Undertaker was a more serious fight. It was a serious feeling to it.
Right. And that's what I like about it, that it's not serious.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not saying that you can't have fun in wrestling. You should, you can, and you will. But if I'm going to compare the two, I just really enjoyed Styles and Taker more.
Yeah.
After watching it,
like I said, I can understand that, but I stand behind.
Right? Oh no. That's totally fine. That's totally fine. So now we go to the main event. This is the main event of WrestleMania. Drew McIntyre challenging Brock Lesnar for the WWE title. And we're going to go description by description of the match. Wrestle. Claymore kick. 1, 2, Brock gets out. Brock hits some German suplexes. Brock hits an F5. 1, Drew kicks out. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention this. Paul Heyman did not do the introduction for Brock. That was very weird.
Yeah.
So Brock hits a second F5. 1, 2, kick out by Drew. Brock hits a third F5. 1, 2, close 3 count. Very close. Then Brock goes for a fourth F5. Drew gets out of it, hits another Claymore kick. Gets up again, hits a third Claymore kick. Then, for good measure, hits a fourth Claymore kick. 1, 2, 3. Drew McIntyre, the new WWE champion. I thought this was a good match. It was told very well, because like Drew can't be beat. He's too focused on this match. He's too motivated. He can't lose this match. I really like the storytelling of the match. I gave it a B. You gave it a B minus.
Yeah, and this is going to get a C minus.
Ooh. All right. So Drew stands on the ropes celebrating. That's the end of WrestleMania. Now, real quick, CBS Sports gave it a B. ESPN gave it 1 out of 5. So, you would think WrestleMania is over. It's in the books. That is until Monday night. Because...
Well, we need to give this WrestleMania a grade.
Oh, night 2?
Yeah.
I'm giving it a C for night 2.
Yeah, and I'm going to give it a D.
All right. Most people on our Facebook group gave it a C. One person gave this an A.
Bless his soul.
Favorite match from night 2 of WrestleMania. This is actually surprisingly close. The leader is the Firefly Funhouse match, followed by the Last Man Standing match. I'm actually surprised about that.
Wow.
Then we had Charlotte and Rhea, Drew and Brock, Otis and Dolph, and the women's elimination match. And I gave my vote to the Firefly Funhouse match. Now, let's talk about what happened on Raw, because this is important.
Yeah, because there was a dark match.
Because all night long on Raw, they hyped breaking news, post-WrestleMania. Something happened after WrestleMania went off the air.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell you what my initial thoughts was. I thought it was Drew got attacked by Brock Lesnar, or Brock Lesnar destroyed Paul Heyman, or something like that. boy, was I way off. So, we're going to use our imaginations for this. 20 minutes after winning the WWE title, Drew goes back out to the ring to conduct an interview. His first interview post-win. As he's doing this, well, it's the big show. Bro, my heart sank. I thought to myself, oh my God.
They're going to screw him over.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I thought the same fucking thing.
Because Big Show's coming out with a referee, and I'm thinking to myself, they're going to put him over with the title because of the Netflix show.
Yeah, that's what I thought as well.
So Big Show's like, look, I'm not out here to ask you for a championship match tonight. I'm not asking you for it at Money in the Bank. I'm not asking you for it, on Raw. I just want to see, how prepared you are as a champion. And Drew's like, look, nothing you can say can get me upset. Slap. We have a match. So this is the post-dark match WrestleMania main event.
Yeah.
And there are times where it looks like Big Show's going to win the title. It really does.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, no, please, no, Drew just won the title. But eventually Drew does hit the Claymore kick. 1, 2, 3, Drew retains the WWE title.
Phew.
Please don't ever do that again, WWE. I'm begging you, don't ever freaking do that again. Alright, so, first off, because we've had 5 days to think about this. Your overall grade for WrestleMania. The overall grade combined.
Well, night 1 gave me a B, and night 2 gave me a D. That's why it has to be a C.
Here's how I look at it. For me. I think this is the best way to explain this. The first night of WrestleMania was for the matches. That was the match night. The second night of WrestleMania was we're going to create the WrestleMania moments night. Yeah, we're going to have the matches, but we're going to focus more on creating those WrestleMania moments that we're going to shove down people's throats for the next 20 years. I'm going to give this a B, but it's going to be on the low end of the B. I thought they had good matches. We had 2 of the best film segments we've ever seen in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And there were good matches. Yeah, we had a really shitty one, but not even that one shitty match can ruin what I thought for the most part was a good WrestleMania. It's a low B for me.
Okay.
Now, let me ask you another question. We've had, this year, New Japan, WWE. They each had their biggest show of the year done in 2 nights.
And isn't it funny that both night 2 was bad and
Exactly.
worse? I find that very interesting.
Now, the difference between the 2 is this. New Japan had theirs planned a year in advance.
Mm-hmm.
WrestleMania had to do it because of a pandemic.
Right.
If you are either New Japan or WWE, would you even think of, would you even entertain the idea of ever doing a 2-night event for your biggest show of the year ever again?
No.
I really wouldn't. I really would not. because, okay, with Wrestle Kingdom, how they got away with it is this. The first night was so solid.
It was.
I don't think I've ever seen a show that solid before in my life.
Me neither.
But the second night, you can tell not only are some of the wrestlers tired, but the fans are tired.
Yeah.
With WrestleMania, the advantage they had, even though this was unprecedented circumstances, is that they were able to tape their show.
Mm-hmm.
That was a plus. And all the wrestlers only had to wrestle once. The negative is they had no reaction. They had no fans there. They had nobody there. And even if they thought about doing 2 nights of WrestleMania ever again, which I really hope they don't, I don't think they can do it with a live audience. I really don't.
I don't think they will. I think they have gotten so much negative feedback for this that hopefully they're not stupid enough to do it again.
I think.
But
go ahead.
But it's Vince, so.
Mm-hmm. But I think in this circumstance, in this situation, they had to do it. And let's.
Well, I hate when you say they had to do it
really
because they had.
Did, though.
No, they didn't. That's bullshit. I'm calling bullshit for that. They really didn't have to do anything. There's no one forcing you to have WrestleMania.
Well, unless your name is Vince McMahon.
Well, right.
But I really think after seeing both New Japan and WWE, neither company should ever do it again.
Yeah, and who knows what we will get in January. Right now, I have no clue.
Right, because New Japan's canceled more shows, and they're being safe. They're being definitely safe.
Yeah. Better safe than sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, believe it or not, folks, we have made it to the end of the show.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get into the plugs, and then we'll tell you what you got.
Well, before you do that.
Okay.
I have a message from Luke.
Oh, no.
He wants you to come on our podcast, not this week, coming week, but next week, to help him decide the best song of Eurovision.
The best song of Eurovision?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that would be the 22nd?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you guys going to give me a list, or...?
Yes.
Okay.
You're going to have 12 songs to decide from.
Okay, yeah. I mean, God, I've listened to so many freaking songs in my life. Jim Boy Star knows that. I mean, yeah, absolutely, I'll do it.
Cool.
All right, let's get into the plugs. If you have any questions or comments, send an email, wrestlingman@thatwrestlingshow.com. Follow the show on Twitter at WrestlingShow11. Follow us on Instagram at That Wrestling Show. We're doing amazingly well. We're almost to 100 followers on the Instagram, and I thank everyone that does follow that. Join our Facebook group. Type in That Wrestling Show fan group. You type that in the search bar. You're right there. If you can't find it, it's okay. I put the link in the description of each and every episode, and you just copy and paste it there. Check out That Wrestling.
One thing. We forgot one thing.
What?
The bet.
Oh, yes, the bet. Oh, thank you. So, last week, we bet on 6 matches.
Mm-hmm.
I got 4 right. Aleister Black, Sami Zayn, KO, and Undertaker. So, you owe me $8.
Right, but it's also -4 because I want to.
So it's $4.
Yes.
All right, $4.
$4. Mm.
Check out our website, thatwrestlingshow.com, and visit the Patreon page. Check it out, patreon.com. That is patreon.com/thatwrestlingshow, where you will be able to get reviews that you're not going to hear on this show. Because we have a founders club. I'm going to talk to Michael over the weekend. Maybe I can get something out of him, and we'll do something really, really soon. You can donate. You can pledge any amount of money: $1, $2, $3 tier, and because of that, you'll be a part of the founders club, and you get to pick what Fro and I watch, well, live when we record on the WWE network.
You even get to pick a part 2 of WrestleMania this year.
Please don't, folks. Please don't.
Please don't, but you can. I'm just saying.
It'll be like a live. It'll be like a watch along. Like we'll watch it.
Yes.
And you guys could join it. Bro, besides discussing WrestleMania, what did you guys talk about on Another Digital Citizen this week?
Yeah, because me and Luke actually tied for the WrestleMania bet.
Oh no.
Yeah, we tied. So we did a random generator and I won, so I was happy. We are talking about a guy called David Shaler. David Shaler is a whistleblower and that helped people understand that the MI5 is paranoid about like socialist things and things like that. But in his later life, he has become a transvestite messiah. So, yeah.
A transvestite messiah.
Yeah. So it's an interesting life, for sure. So we talk about that.
Sounds like it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's talk about our Vantage Point, the Retro Wrestling Podcast with Joe Murata and Michael Quinn. They go through the world of retro wrestling like no other show does. And this week, they have a brand new opening segment with, with a open mind thought on stuff that they might have liked or didn't like, but now have a second, or they have a go around change. This time, it is on the Honky Tonk Man.
Honky Tonk Woman.
No, Honky Tonk Man.
Oh.
Plus, they begin the royal rankings of the best WWF Tag Team Champions of all time, and they review an episode of The Action Zone from April 16th, 1995.
By the way, the real answer for that is the Road Warriors.
Who knows? Maybe they'll be in that list. Plus, for me,
yeah,
greatest WWF Tag Champions ever.
WWF.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Demolition.
Oh, good one.
Plus, and this is the only show, our Vantage Point, where we plug their Patreon page. It might change with another show later on. I haven't decided yet. If you join them on the $5 tier, they put out this week their review of the 1989 Survivor Series. This is the one where they change it up from teams of 5 to teams of 4, and they have the team names. It's so fun. Check it out. Our Vantage Point, the Retro Wrestling Podcast. Now, if you're like podcasts hosted by one individual, may we suggest...
Welcome to Allentown.
It is Greetings from Allentown with PW Peter Winston. He watches one episode of wrestling each week, talks about it in his own unique way, and in today's perspective of stuff going on in the world. This week, he reviews an episode of NWA Worldwide Wrestling from April 5th, 1986. And Fro, it's a little bit funny because yesterday I started to watch that episode on YouTube. So, watch the episode and then listen to Greetings from Allentown with Peter talking about that episode. Now, if you are a movie fan, like Fro and I are, check out the Best Pick Movie Podcast with Tom, John, and Jess and their special guest, Kobe Omanaka, as they watch each and every Best Picture winner from the Academy Awards. This week, they discuss Green Book.
Yeah, a very controversial winner.
All right, well, obviously we got to go through what the other movies were.
Yeah.
The other ones, besides Green Book, Black Panther, Black Klansman, Bohemian Rhapsody, The Favorite, Roma, A Star is Born, and Vice.
Yeah, The Favorite is my favorite, funny enough.
Out of that list, I would say A Star is Born.
Yeah, people like that movie. I did that as well.
Now, if I had to go outside of that list, because I actually listened to the episode, it's a really good episode. One movie that was brought up, and I honestly forgot about it, but it's really good, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse would have been.
Oh, I love that movie.
That is a really good movie. So check it out, the Best Pick Podcast, and they have a Patreon page as well. I gotta look at theirs. I might pledge to them as well because I really do like the show. But oh, by the way, I'm gonna test you on this real quick, Fro. Do you know which movie won the most Oscars that night? Don't use Google or Wikipedia.
Sorry, the night of
that Oscars.
Give me 3 options.
All right. The Favorite, Bohemian Rhapsody, and Roma.
I'm going to guess Bohemian.
Yeah, it was Bohemian Rhapsody.
Mm.
Won 4 Oscars.
I'm not a big fan of that.
I've heard that, but Rami Malek is so good as Freddie Mercury.
Yeah.
That's the only difference there. So check it out, the Best Pick Movie Podcast. Also, check out Unspooled with Paul and Amy as they go through each movie on AFI's list of the 100 Greatest Movies of All Time 2007 edition. This week, they discuss Easy Rider. I'm going to say it. I didn't think it was that good.
Easy Rider.
That's the one with Peter Fonda. They're on.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan.
Although Jack Nicholson is good in the movie.
Yeah, but
I'm not a fan of that movie.
No.
I know. So check it out anyway. Unspooled with Paul and Amy. Also, check out Shark's Pond, a South Park podcast where I review each and every South Park episode. We're into season 9 right now. And this week, going to be reviewing Best Friends Forever. This is the one that finally gets South Park an Emmy.
I remember that.
So,
and they did too.
Yeah.
I remember that in the shit episode. It says on the screen this that was right after they got the Oscar.
Yeah.
It says like the Emmy. This cartoon has gotten an Emmy, or this show has gotten an Emmy, or something like that.
So check that out. And this Sunday, a new episode, a special episode of Eliminated, a Royal Rumble podcast with myself and Jim Boy Star. This is a special episode because we are going to be talking about the corporate Rumble that took place a few weeks prior to the 1999 Royal Rumble match.
I have never seen the Culprits one, actually.
It's short, but it's good for storyline purposes.
Okay.
And it's on, I want to say it's like the second episode of Raw that for $19.99.
Okay.
So if you can find it, it's like 10 minutes long, but it's still good. All right, Fro. Next week. More wind is knocking stuff down. No, that's not it. We have been asked by one of our fans to do a review. And this is going to be a very special review because the review we are giving is going to be on the 27th anniversary almost to the day of an episode of WCW Saturday Night where Vader takes on Cactus Jack. It's a very infamous match, and we'll talk more about that next week.
Okay.
Plus, we will talk about more wrestling news and, well, who knows what else we're going to talk about next week. So, everyone, first off, to our Jewish listeners, hope you're having a very happy Passover. For Christians, have a happy Easter, celebrating the birth of the Easter Bunny. And to our Muslim friends, because it'll start by next week, have a happy Ramadan. And when you're done celebrating whatever holiday you celebrate, and maybe you don't, and if you don't celebrate a holiday, have a good have a good week. Come back here next week for another episode of That Wrestling Show, the podcast where all pro wrestling matters. And as always,
Mamma mia, here we go again. My, how much I missed you.
that's some good shit.